Cowboys Nation, I need everyone to stop what you're doing right now, because what I'm about to tell you is shocking. The Dallas Cowboys have officially made a move that nobody expected. I'm talking about a move that involves cutting a major player, someone who has been a starter for this team, someone fans know, someone who's been on the field in big moments. This is the kind of roster shakeup that tells you the front office is dead serious about pushing for a Super Bowl run right now. What's up, Cowboys? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Cowboys. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the America's team. So, on Monday Night Football game, we saw two of the Cowboys' best players, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, benched for the first drive against the Raiders. It was the coach's decision, but they couldn't hold them back for too much longer because the second they came on the field, it was lights out. And this duo is starting to find some legit rhythm. Dak Prescott also got back on the right side of things in a big way, dicing up Las Vegas' defense. With the win, the Cowboys get a bump in the right direction when it comes to the NFL playoffs, now sitting at 4-5. Cowboys back in the top 10 in the NFC playoff standings, sitting second in the NFC East and in the hunt. So what did we really learn about the Dallas Cowboys last game, and how legit are their NFL playoff chances? I think they are legit contenders to potentially make a run. When you look at the schedule, the next three are gauntlets, right? They have the Philadelphia Eagles, then I believe they have the Kansas City Chiefs, then they travel to Detroit. If they were to just win one of those two, I think they have an outside chance. Again, if they win two of those three, they're getting into the playoffs. And you ask, did the last win show me anything? The last performance showed me the Cowboys are who we expected them to be, right? The Raiders have really struggled, and they took care of a wounded animal. That's exactly what they did. The offense has not been the issue. Now, the last 2 weeks before this game, the offense was only averaging about 17 points, so I was glad that they got back on track, right? The defense has always been the question. Before last night, they were giving up 30 points a game. It's tough to win football games if you're Dak Prescott and you say, going into this game, I got to put up nearly a 40 burger for us to have a chance. Well, you saw Jerry Jones smiling in his box last night because of guys like Quinnen Williams. You bring him in, he has a second half. He only had a sack coming into this game. Logan Wilson, they also got healthier. Malik Hooker came back from injury. Siobhan Revel Jr., now they're starting to get some of their players back and build that confidence. The good thing for them is we talked about a gauntlet of 3 games. 2 of those are at home. Again, if they win 1, they got an outside chance. But if they win 2, I believe the Dallas Cowboys are getting in the playoffs. I love the way this showed us who they were supposed to be this season. Only took about, 12 weeks? The offense has always been there. The defense has been the struggle. So let's go ahead and go through some of these games, and we'll start with the defending champs. That game at home, Sportsline is actually giving the Cowboys a 42% chance to win this game. I give them that too, because when you look at the history, Dak rarely gets swept by the Eagles. He usually always splits with them, and they lost earlier this year versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I can see them winning that game versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Remember, it was earlier this year where the spitting accident happened with Jalen Carter? He ended up missing the entire game, and the Cowboys were right there with them at the end, and they just couldn't get over the top. Well, now that they have everybody back healthy, CeeDee is back, George Pickens is still playing at a high level, Dak has all this weaponry at his disposal, but the biggest thing is the O-line's finally healthy. Now, Terrence Steele still, the right tackle, has been an issue, and that's a concern, especially when you're going up against a guy like Jalen Phillips, who will be rushing against the right tackle. But I love this Cowboys team to potentially win this game at home, because when you look at Dak Prescott, again, he rarely loses or gets swept by the Philadelphia Eagles, and you see it. Most touchdowns in a Monday Night Football game in Cowboys history, 4. He actually should have had 5. CeeDee Lamb dropped one at the end of the game, but Dak has played at an MVP level this year. And you see at 3+ passing touchdowns, he has the most in Cowboys history. I like them to potentially pull off this upset at home versus the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending champs. And how much momentum would that give them heading into the next game? That game, the first of 2 back-to-back games, the next, of course, on Thanksgiving. And this game is actually against the Chiefs. So, what chance do I give them in that game? I mean, the way that the Chiefs have played, what's their identity? I think that's the biggest question mark with the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, everybody keeps waiting for that shooter drop in a good way with the Chiefs. Like, we know their pedigree. They always figure it out. What if they don't figure it out? Because they have a tough schedule now. Again, they play the Colts the week before that. So Jonathan Taylor's going to give them that issue with the physical run game. Could they be a little beat up coming into this game? It's on a short week, too. They play on Thanksgiving.
versus the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys usually have a long history of winning at home on Thanksgiving. So they have a really good chance. I'm going to say, though, the Chiefs right the ship and get the win on that game there. That's a good prediction, though. But it would not be a surprise if the Cowboys win it, though. Then they're on the road taking on the Lions. Where can they have the edge in this one? Take the over-under in this game. It's going to be a shootout, right? Because now we saw the Eagles' defense get after the Detroit Lions. And one thing about Dan Campbell, he's not going to let that go for 2 weeks in a row or 3 weeks in a row. He's got to make sure this offense is back to being that explosive offense. The Detroit defense actually played well, even though they've had a ton of injuries in that secondary. Shout out to Kelvin Shepard. He's done a masterful job getting guys that have not accustomed to playing at a high level on that defense. But this is going to be a shootout. Right now, the Detroit Lions are kind of like a wounded animal because if the playoffs started today, they'd be out of it. This is a team a lot of people picked to win that division. So they're not going to have a lot of margin for error. I think the Detroit Lions take care of them at home. Okay, so difficult may be a massive understatement for the next few games for them. But with all this being said, do the Cowboys make the playoffs? I think that tie hurts them, right? I think in my predictor, we did it last week, I have them going 9-7-1. I don't know if that gets them in. I think you need to go 10-7 now. Again, it's going to come to tiebreakers, but is there going to be any tiebreakers because they tied the game? They would need another team to tie, like maybe the Green Bay Packers comes to the tiebreakers, and then who you beat and who you didn't beat. But other than that, like when you look at the Chicago Bears, right? The Chicago Bears already beat them. So there can't be a tiebreaker unless the Bears have a tie. So I just think it's too little too late. I do have them finishing 9-7-1, and I do have them winning 4 in a row at the end to make it very interesting. Now, again, if they go 2-1 in the next 3 games, they're making the playoffs. I'm going to go out and say it. The Cowboys will make the playoffs if they win 2 out of the next 3 games. But if they only win 1, they got an outside chance of getting in. I think 9-7-1. I don't know if they get in. I don't think they get in at 9-7-1. We do give them a 21% chance to make the playoffs if they do go that 2-1. 3-0, 51% chance for the Cowboys. So it all continues. Now here's the big news. On Tuesday afternoon, the Cowboys made a jaw-dropping decision. Dallas has released linebacker Damone Clark, a player who started 26 games over 4 seasons, including all 17 games in 2023 when he was all over the field for us. This season alone, Clark started 2 games and remained part of the defensive rotation. He wasn't a superstar, but he was reliable, experienced, and knew this defense inside and out. So why cut him now, especially when the defense is coming off its best performance of the entire 2025 season, that dominating Monday Night Football win over the Raiders? The answer is a player Cowboys fans have been waiting to see. The Cowboys officially activated Perrion Winfrey from injured reserve. The preseason star, the all-defensive tackle, the guy who instantly became a fan favorite this summer. Winfrey hurt his back in late August, opened his 21-day practice window in October, and now he's fully cleared and ready to suit